بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. One of the gates of Satan to enter hearts of people is to be involved in deep theological, philosophical, mystical questions while you are not prepared for that. You think because you are dealing with a very good subject, maybe you are doing something good. But unfortunately, this is very dangerous practice. So, in Mahajjatul Bayda, we read, وَمِنْ أَبْوَابِهِ الْعَظِيمَةِ حَمْلُ الْعَوَامِ وَالَّذِينَ لَمْ يُمَارِسُوا الْعِلْمِ وَلَمْ يتبحروا فيه على التفكر في ذات الله وصفاته وفي أمور لا يبلغها حد عقولهم. As I said this part last session, so one of the great gates of Satan is to push, to encourage awam, uneducated people, and those who have not good training and good background to think about essence of God, about qualities of God and the things which are beyond their capacity, so that then make them doubt. حتى يشككهم بذلك في أصل الدين. First it starts with minor issues, but then may lead to questioning even the existence of God or the truth of religion. And then he says, روي أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال. This hadith is a famous hadith about doubts which are not scientific, which are not, good doubts. Sometimes you are a scholar who has questions, and these questions are very important because without questions you cannot make any progress. You have to have questions. But sometimes there are people that have questions which are not relevant to them. They cannot digest it. They cannot find answer for it. So according to this hadith, Rasulullah said, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانِ يَأْتِي أَحَدَكُمْ فَيَقُولُ. Sometimes shaitan may come to you and say, مَنْ خَلَقَكَ? Who created you? Then the answer would be Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then shaitan says, فَمَنْ خَلَقَ اللَّهِ Ta'ala. Who created God? So, for a scholar, this is a good question and you have to be able to answer. As in discussions in Kalam, we said there is an answer. This is actually the question that stopped Bertrand Russell believing in God. When he was riding bicycle, one day this question came to his mind. If God created everything, who created God? He says, from that day, I didn't believe. So, in philosophy, in theology, we address these issues and we clarify that we don't say every being needs creator. We say every contingent being needs creator, not every being. But for people who are not studying, they don't have patience, they don't have interest in studying properly, it's better not to deal with these questions. So Rasulullah said, if this happens to you, فَإِذَا وَجَدَ أَحَدُكُمْ ذَلِكَ فَلْيَقُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى وَبِرَسُولِهِ. He should express again his faith, and فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ يَذْهَبُ عَنْ. Then that unnecessary doubt, that unhealthy doubt would go away. If it was a scientific, scholarly doubt, would not go away with this. But for many people, this is something just comes as a transient situation. He talks about this in more details, and he says, even for people who are not educated and want to deal with such issues, it is more problematic than committing some sins. Even sarqah, even theft. He says, because if someone commits theft, this is a sin, but at least he may still keep his iman. But going to these discussions without being prepared, it's more harmful than committing a sin, because you may lose in this process your whole iman. The next issue, which is the last one, is to have suspicion about people. Shaitan, by creating suspicion in us about other people, takes our control. Doesn't let us think in a good way about other people, doesn't let our relation be good with people, doesn't let us help them, makes our heart full of negativity and sometimes hatred about other people. وَمِنْ أَبْوَابِهِ سُوءُ الظَّنِّ بِالْمُسْلِمِينَ. One of the gates of shaitan is to have bad opinion about believers, about people, suspicion. وَلِذَلِكَ قَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. And this is why Allah said, وَاجْتَنِبُوا كَثِيرًا مِنَ الظَّنِّ إِنَّ بَعْضَ الظَّنِّ إِثْمٌ. You should avoid many of suspicions or speculations about people, because some of them are sin. Because some are sin, you should avoid
All of them.
or most of them, because there might be cases that there is genuine reason for worrying. That's another. For example, if there is a person that has a history of deceiving people, you have to be careful. There's a history. Or if there is a time that there are many, many bad people around, you have to be careful. But for the most part, there is no need to be suspicious. You can be precautious. And these are two different things. Whenever you are dealing with someone, for example, you want to become friend, you want to, I don't know, work in a place, you want to seek advice, you want to marry, there is a proposal, or there is someone that you want to, for example, propose. You can be careful, and you should be careful, precautious, but not suspicious. What's the difference? What's the difference between someone who is suspicious and someone who is muhtat, he's doing ihtiyat, precaution? What's the difference? When you are suspicious, it means that already you have a negative attitude. And when your mind is filled with suspicion, you interpret everything in that way. Okay? So if that person is polite, you say, oh, it's because of his vicious, character that he's polite to me. If he's, offering help, that is, look how bad he is. He's trying to deceive me. When you are suspicious, anything good, you take it in a negative way. But when you are precautious, it means that you have your emotions under your control. You don't go too fast, but also you let the other person to explain and express himself. So the big difference between ihtiyat and su'u dhann. So you have to be very careful, but not suspicious in most of the cases. Unless there are issues that you have to be suspicious. So, من حكم بشر على غيره بالظن, when you judge in a negative way about other people, بعثه الشيطان, then shaitan comes and triggers you, moves you into bad direction. Then you may start committing ghaibah about that person. Or you may not do your wajibat, you may not fulfill your wajibat, responsibilities towards that person. Or you may not respect him enough. Or you may look at him in a bad way, look down at that person. Or you look yourself in a way that you think you are superior to that person. Yeah? You think he is not very pious, I am better than him. So these are dangerous things. Ghaibah, or not doing your wajibat towards that person, not respecting that person, looking in a negative way about that person, looking at yourself with admiration and being proud of yourself. These are the problems of suspicion. وَكُلُّ ذَلِكَ مِنَ الْمُهْلِكَاتِ, and these are destructive issues. وَلَأَجْلِ ذَلِكَ مَنَعَ الشَّارْعُ مِنَ التَّعَرُّضِ لِلتُّهَمِ. Suspicion is so bad that not only we are told not to be suspicious, but we are also told not to let people develop suspicions about you. Okay? So do not behave in the way that brings suspicion to you, brings question marks and doubts about you. Because you don't want to destroy other people, and also you don't want yourself to be affected by their suspicion. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, اتقوا مواضع التهم. Avoid the places or the conditions, the circumstances that might bring false accusations to you. Okay? Sometimes you have no bad intention, but you have to be careful. For example, you want to ask address. There is a grocery and there is a pub. Don't go inside the pub and ask for address. Because someone may say, oh, why he was in the pub? Takes a photo and says, I saw Sheikh coming from the pub. So, you have to be careful. You are talking to someone over phone and other people that are here. Tell them, this is my wife, this is my daughter, so that they don't think in a bad way about you. So, we should not develop suspicion towards people. We should not let also people develop suspicion about us. Some ulama say something about this in Farsi. اتقوا مواضع التهم Tuham is plural for tuhma. And then they say, ay talab tuham. This is Farsi. Tuham means you also. Means this is not only for other people. You talab also have to be careful. Don't think because you are talab, people will not think bad way about you. People may think bad thing even about the Prophet. So we have hadith that, for example, Prophet was with one of his maharim, and then two people passed by, then the Prophet said, this is Safiya. This is my mahram, this is not someone, it's my aunt. So Rasulullah said to these people who said, no, you don't need to explain to us, we don't think except good about you. أَن نَظُنُّ بِكَ إِلَّا خَيْرًا. It's impossible that you think bad. Rasulullah said, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانِ لَيَجْرِي مِنْ بَنِي آدَمْ مَجْرَ الدَّمِ. Like blood which goes to every part of your body, Shaitan also can come and go around in your heart and mind and bring suspicion. You have to be careful. وَإِنِّي خَشِيتُ أَنْ يَدْخُلَ عَلَيْكُمْ. I was worried that Shaitan may come inside you as well. So, protect yourself and also be careful about not doing the same thing to other people. Don't develop suspicion about other people. Then there is a beautiful poem which says, وَعَيْنُ الرِّضَى عَنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ كَلِيلًا وَلَكِنَّ عَيْنَ السُّخْطِ تُبْدِئُ الْمَسَاوِيَ. When you are happy with someone, your eye would not see the problems. When you love someone, you are happy with someone. For example, you love your students. They come late, you don't see. They don't do mubahisa, you don't see. This is bad, yeah? But when you are happy with your students, this is the problem. If you are angry with them, you don't see anything good. We have to be balanced. فَيَجِبُ الْإِحْتِرَازِ عَنِ السُّوءِ وَأَنْ تُهْمَةِ الْأَشْرَارِ. We should be careful about avoiding su'adhan and about also being subject of other people becoming suspicious about us. And one of the things which he says which is very beautiful, of course you cannot maybe generalize it and say 100% is the case, that most of the people who have suspicion are the people who have some problem in themselves. You know? Because they are not very pure. Then when they think about other people, they think in a negative way. إِنَّ الْأَشْرَارِ لَا يَظُنُّونَ بِالنَّاسِ كُلَّهُمْ إِلَّا الشَّرِّ. Those are bad and vicious. They think other people are also bad and vicious. فَمَهْمَا رَأَيْتَ إِنسَانًا يُسِيءُ الظَّنَّ بِالنَّاسِ. When you see someone keeps developing suspicion about people, this shows that this person has problems. Why he always thinks in a negative way about people? فَعْلَمَ أَنَّهُ خَبِيثٌ فِي الْبَاطِنِ. So he is vicious in his inner self. وَأَنَّ ذَلِكَ خُبْثُهُ يَتَرَشَّهُ مِنْهُ. His own vicious character is now coming out. Yeah? So whatever is inside. So if you are a very good and nice person, you think also other people are nice. If you are very vicious, you think other people are vicious. Of course, you cannot say 100%, but this is the problem. Or the people who are dealing with bad people. This is also possible. For example, if you are working in the court or in police, sometimes you can also become suspicious, because every day for a few hours you only see criminals. Then you go outside, you think everyone is a potential criminal. This also can happen. Not because you are a bad person, but your experience is like this. Every day you see criminals. So you have to be very careful not to let your bad experiences give you a negative, vision about everyone. إن المؤمن يطلب المعاذير. Very beautiful sentence. إن المؤمن يطلب المعاذير والمنافق يطلب العيوب. Mu'min always tries to find excuses for people. Tries to put everything in the best possible way. Give to people credit of doubt. But munafiq looks for problems. المؤمن السليم القلب في حق كافة الخلق. Mu'min has clean and pure heart with respect to all people, not only with respect to mu'minin. All creation of God, he tries to be positive unless something is proved otherwise. Okay, هذه بعض مداخل الشيطان إلى القلب. So these are few gates of shaitan entering heart. ولو أردت استقصاء جميعها لم أقدر عليه. If I wanted to exhaust and mention all the gates, I was not able. So these are just some of them that we discussed. وفي هذا القدر ما ينبه على غيره. But this much that we discussed would make us alert about other gates also. فليس في الآدمي صفة مذمومة إلا وهي سلاح للشيطان. There is no bad habit, bad quality in us unless that becomes a weapon for shaitan. Any weakness, moral weakness that we have is a strength for shaitan. Is a weapon for shaitan. وَمَدْخَلٌ مِّن مَدَاخِلِ. It would be a gate for shaitan to enter. So, alhamdulillah, we finish this chapter and then inshallah we continue with the next chapter, which is about how we can protect ourselves from shaitan, how we can keep shaitan away from us. So this would be inshallah for next week. Now, I want to mention a hadith from Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam. And in this way commemorate also the demise anniversary, the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam, which according to some historical reports it was 12th of Muharram, but more famous view is 25th of Muharram. Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam was born in 36 or 7 or 38 after Hijrah. So the latest is 38 after Hijrah. So in the year 61, which is the year that Imam Hussein alayhi salam was killed, he was 23 or 24 or 25 years old. But the least is 23 years old. And he was with Imam Hussein alayhi salam during the journey. So from Medina to Mecca, from Mecca to Karbala, he was with Imam alayhi salam. And then after the event of Karbala, he became Imam and lived with few Khalifa, contemporary to few Khalifa. And then he was killed in 95 or 96. So possibly his life was 57 like Imam Hussein. 50 years, 7 years old, maybe 58, maybe 56, depending. But if we say he was born in 38 and killed in 95, would be 57. The life of Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam, even before the event of Karbala, is very difficult life, because part of it is during the time of Imam Hassan and Muawiyah. Part of it is during the time of Imam Hussein and Muawiyah. But in both these 10 years, Muawiyah was ruling. And for Imam to see how a person like Muawiyah is ruling in the name of Khalifa to Rasulullah and cursing on Manabir Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam, life is very difficult. To see how these people have hijacked Islam and they are ruling, and then his uncle or later his father, they have just to be, somehow observing this. But then everything became more intense and more difficult when Yazid took over and asked the governor of Medina to force Imam Hussein alayhi salam to give bay'ah. And then you know the story that how they left Medina for Mecca, and then from Mecca they received letters of invitation. They went and they were stopped and they ended in Karbala. And Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam saw all the tragic events. It's very difficult, when you are even away and you hear that a dear one has died. It's very painful. Even if someone has died just naturally, it's very painful. If you hear that your loved one is killed unjustly, it's very painful. Even if it has happened another part of the world. Why they killed my mother or my father without any guilt. But if this happens in front of your eyes, it's something that it's not, easy. It's very difficult. And now you can imagine what has happened to Imam and Lady Zainab when in one day, in front of their eyes, they have seen all these crimes. I just wonder how patient they were, how much persistence was there, how much they were connected to Allah, that they managed to just remain alive. It's beyond any sabr, any level of sabr that you can imagine would not be able to help you to cope with seeing all these things in the most cruel way in one day. And then after that, didn't stop. Actually, it became worse to the extent that when they asked after the journey, Imam Zayn Al-ʿābidīn, they asked him which part was the most difficult part. So it is said that for 3 times Imam said Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham, Ash-Sham. So we have to imagine what happened in Sham that compared to that Karbala is easier. Compared to that, losing Imam Hussein and Ali Akbar and Ali Asghar and Hazrat Abbas and all those people, compared to that, it's easier. Compared to that, seeing the bodies of the martyrs so badly treated is easier. Because a man of that caliber, who is full of honor and dignity, and who is responsible for this family, plus he is Imam, seeing such disrespectful behavior towards the family of the Prophet. You know, when you are a very noble person, even if people speak with you without, good title, it's very impolite. You feel very bad. People who have no respect and dignity, sometimes even they swear at each other, they shout at each other. Some friends say bad things about it. They don't feel anything. But a person who has maximum honor and respect for himself and for other people, even if you mention his first name, is disrespectful. So the Hujjah of Allah, the only remaining man from the family of Ahlul Bayt, because Imam Bakr is a child, this Hujjah of Allah, the only man remaining from family of Ahlul Bayt, seeing what they do with the children and ladies, it's something we cannot understand. Just to get an idea, think that compared to everything else, Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn says, Sham was the most terrible thing. When people congratulate someone like Yazid for killing of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Who is Yazid? Yazid, someone is that no one should even want to see him. And then they congratulate, they decorate the city, and they take them to the city from the gate that was the busiest gate, so that more people look at them, without being able to cover themselves, without being able to hide ladies inside men. It's very, very difficult. And then being in that palace of Yazid and seeing how disrespectful was Yazid to the lips of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This is very difficult, very painful. And seeing that some dirty eyes look at the daughters of the Prophet. So it's very painful. This marked a pain in the heart of Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn, that till he died, he never managed to have a normal life. Whenever he wanted to drink water, he was thinking of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He said, my father was killed while he was thirsty. They say whenever he wanted to have food, he was saying, my father was killed while he was hungry. Even I read in some places that whenever he saw someone was slaughtering a sheep, was going and asking, have you given this sheep water? And they were saying, O son of Rasulullah, how can we kill an animal without giving water? Then he used to say, but they killed my father without giving water. He used to say, they killed my father sabran. You know, in Islam, we have this rule in fiqh that when you want to slaughter a sheep, a goat, the knife must be from iron and very sharp, because should be causing the least of pain and do it fast. But Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn said, they killed my father, the son of Rasulullah, qataluhu sabra. They killed him with sword, with spears. They broke his neck. So it's very, very difficult for us to imagine what Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn went through. But at the same time, he didn't become depressed. He didn't remain in the past. He had the task of not letting this tragedy be forgotten, but at the same time take the Shia forward. It's very difficult. You know, such big event can make the whole Shia community hopeless and depressed forever. When you lose your Imam and all the great figures in one day, and you see Yazid is ruling, and then you see next year Yazid is attacking Medina. If Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn was just treating this with emotion, could have made all the Shia depressed and very passive. So he has to keep reminding people of what happened, but at the same time give them courage to carry on. Even something like Karbala should not stop. The community should go forward. They should get inspiration by remembering what happened, but go forward. I cannot imagine how Imam managed to do all these things with a broken heart, but give people courage to go on. The only thing that I can think of is deep connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were no longer acting on their own capacity. They were connected to unlimited treasure of sabr, of wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. Like, imagine if there is a pool, and this pool is full of water, and you add to this water, or there is a wind, is overflowing. But if you connect this pool to ocean, you make a pool next to the ocean and it's connected to the ocean, the pool is limited, but it would never overflow. Nothing can disturb it. So Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn is so much connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that nothing would disturb him. Even his tragedies, even his broken heart is intact. He knows what he has to do. He is in control of everything. Even he doesn't develop hatred. You know, it's very difficult. One of the worst things that can happen to a person who is mistreated is that then he becomes very much full of hatred. But Imam didn't develop hatred. Even the governor of Medina, when asked for refuge, Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn gave refuge to his family and protected them. He could have just said, go away. But he gave them protection. So, how? He is not getting depressed, he is not getting hopeless, he is not developing hatred, he remains positive. It's only because of connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever we read du'as of Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn, you should read it with this understanding. These du'as are not made by someone who was sitting on a chair or on a prayer mat and relaxed and then making these du'as. These du'as are natural expressions of feelings of a person who is surrounded by calamities, but he is under the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like a person, like Ibrahim, who is safe inside fire. These are du'as of Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn. Surrounded by fire, but peaceful in the heart. I just mentioned one hadith from Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn, and I hope inshallah we would be able to get closer to Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn in every aspect of his life. This hadith, we had it also in Akhlaq 2 years ago maybe. A person called Abi Malik, he says, قلت لعلي بن الحسين عليهما السلام أخبرني بجميع شرائع الدين. I said to Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn, please inform me about all the practices of religion, all the obligations, all the duties and responsibilities that we have in Islam. Very difficult question. He asked one question, but he wanted to know everything. جميع الشرائع. Even he didn't say بعض الشرائع. He said جميع الشرائع. But look at the wisdom of Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn alayhi salam. قال قول الحق. Tell the truth. Even in such difficult time that Yazid is ruling, you have to tell the truth. You know, sometimes we say, because now Yazid is ruling, you know, we cannot tell the truth. We have to now be dishonest. No. Whether Yazid is ruling or a man of God is ruling, you have to be honest and truthful. قول الحق والحكم بالعدل. Rule or judge according to justice. Don't do injustice even to your enemies. وَالْوَفَاءُ بِالْعَهْدِ. And be loyal to your promises. This is everything about Islam. This is everything about all religions. This is faith. This is akhlaq, this is fiqh. Everything else is to help us reach this. If we are truthful and just and loyal, everything else is there. If we have everything but not this, means they have not worked, they have not functioned. It's like a person who has thousands of trees, none of them bear fruits. Looks at the trees and is amazed how many trees I have planted, but there is no fruit. Even you cannot feed yourself and family. Can you feed your family with shadow? You have to give them fruits. So, Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn, with his wisdom, with his insight, says all religion is about these three. قول الحق والحكم بالعدل والوفاء بالعهد. And if we inshallah gain this as a community, then I think we would be in a closer position with respect to Allah and Imams and also hearts of people. I don't think you can find any normal person, which is 99% of people, who would be against these things. Maybe, I don't know, a person who is mentally, very ill would say, no, I don't want people who are truthful and just and loyal. 99% of people love this. So you will be closer to Allah and closer to the hearts of people. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to include us among the true believers and give us all the good traits of character, noble traits of character that Imam Zayn al-ʿābidīn mentions in Du'a Makarim al-Akhlaq and in other du'as. And in particular, we ask Allah to give us these three things: to be able to tell the truth and rule and judge according to justice and keep our promises. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.